Okay, here we are back on the porch.
Attention shortwave listeners and radio enthusiasts. DXtra.com is a free radio database covering over 50,000 stations worldwide, AM, FM, and shortwave. See real-time VOA cap propagation maps showing which shortwave stations you can receive right now.
Of course, this is WRMI, pretty much the last standing shortwave broadcaster.
US, Europe, Brazil, Australia, and more. No sign-up, no app. Just visit DXTRA.com.
This is a little $12 radio called a Prunus. It's model number J-165. And it actually sounds really good when you pump it through an S1. This is a Bose, very expensive Bose speaker. We are on the shortwave band here. I'm not sure of my exact frequency here.
This is Glenn Hauser with World of Radio 355.
Good old Glenn Hauser. I started QSLing when I was about 15.
World of Radio is a listener-supported public service program.
I don't think stations even give out QSLs anymore. Well, I know they don't because they don't exist anymore. You can probably still get one from WRMI.
On this edition, recorded July 9th, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Cuba, Finland, Germany, Hungary, Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Japan, Netherlands, Oklahoma, Philippines, Thailand, UK, USA, Vanuatu, and the propagation outlook. Stellar disclaimer. Ron Howard in California updates us on his latest monitoring of that new low-power station in Australia, 4DX, in Queensland on 5055. On July 4th, he says, good news, the station now broadcasting with audio. Heard from on 735 UT July 4th via remote in Queensland, with non-stop songs such as Nancy Sinatra, Celine Dion, Kim Carnes. At 0840, he heard it via remote in Victoria. Decent reception, but the transmitter briefly went off the air. The next day, July 5th, already on the air at 0519 UT, more and more non-stop songs heard via the Townsville, Queensland remote, including...
This is a radio show for QSL or DXers about listening to radio. Shortwave radio, of course.
Is not appearing on its 9665 frequency. But I detected a barely audible carrier when WWCR was not quite as strong as usual.
Pretty much almost everybody in this hobby is aging out. People are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I don't think younger people really listen to shortwave radio at all.
July 4th at 2049.
I don't think we have the patience for it.
Okay, Booster measured it on 11750.550.
We'll come back to him.
July 6th at 0351 with a sermon. And Art Todderbert.
Digital tuner, of course. One thing you can do is with this is pretty cool is you can save your stations. Let's go back to Bruce for a minute here. Here we go. And we'll put him in memory number 1.
For 4.5 gigadollars.
Now he's in memory number 1. This thing's actually got 5 memory slots per band. It's crazy. $12.
Ký ức không có hình ảnh có nguy cơ dần mai một và biến mất. Ông cũng lưu ý rằng công nghệ chỉ thực sự có giá trị khi được kết hợp với kinh nghiệm, niềm đam mê và trí tuệ con người.
Sounds like Vietnamese to me.
Không chỉ là bảo vệ quá khứ, nhưng còn góp phần xây dựng tương lai.
Sorry, somebody going by with a noisy... Ah, yes, another Christian broadcaster. Thank you.
And now here to bring you this week's lesson on...
Goodbye. You know, at one time, Christian broadcasting was like almost non-existent. There was like HCJB and A little bit coming off of WRMI, but that was it. Good old brother stare. Now this, of course, is WWV. And, you know, I think HCJB is shut down by now, or going to shut down in a couple of weeks. So that's another goodbye. These things will probably be shutting down too. WWV, Fort Collins, Colorado. I used to just leave this playing in the old days.
Then you'd find it and wouldn't know that you'd found it and keep searching. So you've got to know what you're searching for. And you've just got to keep on exploring and examining. And so God has hidden many precious things in the Word of God.
Hear the voice of the last day, prophet of God to all mankind throughout the nations.
Sẽ góp phần củng cố tình hữu nghị giữa hai, đồng thời còn thăng tiến hòa bình, phẩm giá con người và tự do.
So this is the first shortwave band, and there's another one. Let me go back to Glenn Hauser though, but just pressing this, see? Boom.
Ongoing problems with the power grid and shortage of fuel have led to nationwide power outages. Many AM stations are off the air. Technicians from China who kept things running have reportedly left the country. Carl D. Forth has been interested in radio and DXing for more than 50 years. This story was included in the book Radio Nights and Distant Signals. I continue not to hear Radio Atlantic Cuba on any of its known frequencies in random checks day and night. However, Paul Walker in Wyoming says RHC is alive, loud and clear on 6,000 at 0215 UT 6 July. Well, as clear as Cuba's muddy, fuzzy, but loud modulation can be. First time I've heard them on the air in a week, and it's been months since I've heard them on this frequency.
That's interesting.
Recorded by Wolfgang Büchel. RHC distorted tiny Cuban shortwave signal at 0327 UT via the Kilicon San Felipe Titan Broadcast Center. Requested with 250 kilowatts, but seems to be 10 to 20 kilowatts in English. A tiny signal, if even that, compared to Radio Marti on 630 from Greenville, and also 12060, the second harmonic of Marti, was heard at the same time with an S5 signal. Finland, Real Mix Radio on Facebook, 20 June, via communication of the British DX Club. Real Mix Radio moves to 6005 kilohertz. Our shortwave frequency has changed. Future broadcasts on 6005 instead of 5950. Tune in on shortwave from Finland this Saturday and Sunday at 0630 to 21 UT. Happy Midsummer from Real Mix Radio. Germany, here on the next broadcast of Texas Radio Shortwave. Thursday, July 16th at 19 UT, Gene Autry on Shortwave Radio Gold, Germany, 2975 and 6160. Then Sunday, July 19th at 20 UT, Miranda Lambert is featured on Channel 292, 6070. Last week we had news on Germany's Lampertheim shortwave site being reactivated. Here's more about that from Günther Friedmantel on the ADX mailing list. via BCDX and also putting something from Facebook. Longer time is likely just an interim solution until the renovation of the shortwave transmission facility in Kuwait is completed. A contract for the procurement and installation of 4 new shortwave transmitters for that site, scheduled for completion within 3 years, was put out to tender last year. The contract was awarded to the Amagon firm in Switzerland. And last year, the renewal of the antennas for Kuwait was also put out to tender. Via Akiyoshi Taraoka, Japan, originally from Idun's medium wave info, quoting Laszlo Tringer, Kossuth Radio's broadcast suspension is expected to last for 1 month. Kossuth Radio suspended its broadcast on July 7th at 16 hours local with the following message. Public media cannot lie. We apologize for doing this for many years. Public media is now being transformed to be independent and credible in the future. The news service is temporarily suspended. Stay with us. Since then, Bortalk Radio can be heard both on 540 and the FM network of Kossuth Radio. Bortalk Radio is the 3rd channel of Hungarian state radio with classical music and drama. The suspension is for 1 month, according to current news. And Patrick in Poland sends us these observations. The situation with Kossuth Radio 540 is quite clear. There is a Bortalk Radio broadcasting classical music.
Here we go. Let's hop on up to the other band for a minute here.
Programming follows quite a normal schedule.
Cut the volume down, so this thing does like to pop. This Bose speaker will blow your ears off.
Usually the transmitters of regional broadcasting at 1188 and 1350 should turn off at 1809 TUT. The regional minority language programming itself sounds like normal schedule. However, political segments in the Romanian language were almost not present or reduced to a bare minimum. The Serbian language broadcast contained mostly Serbian language music. The Voice of Indonesia is active on both 4755 and 9690. Manuel Mendez in Spain reports 4755, July 4th at 2033 in French. Very weak with strong fading. Ron Howard reports 4755, parallel 9690. At 1207 UT, July 8th, heard via remote in Jakarta.
Oh, here we go again. Blow our ears out.
Había llevado autobuses interprovinciales que, por cierto, decían la banderola decía inmigración, lo cual es una ironía. A Cuba no llegaba nadie, debió haber sido emigración. Pero bueno, los eufemismos de Fidel Castro, te montaban en ese autobús y ese autobús entonces iba hasta Varadero, al aeropuerto de Varadero, y ahí te montaban en un DC-7 de una aerolínea que se llamaba Airlift, nadie sabe esto, que era una aerolínea charter, y eran 2 vuelos diarios desde el aeropuerto de Varadero al aeropuerto de Miami, te bajaban aquí y te llevaban autobús a Opaloca y un Opaloca que te procesaba. Ok, cuando eso pasaba ahí, que te cuento que la gente se iba, si el avión se caía por el camino, tú no te enterabas. Así como te cuento, no había llamadas telefónicas. Una carta demoraba, o sea, tú tenías que esperar a que tu familiar llegara aquí, que te escribiera, y la carta puede llegar con 1 mes de atraso, con 2 meses de atraso. A mi casa llegaron cartas con 6 meses de atraso. Además de que corrió el rumor, no puedo certificarlo, pero yo no lo dudo, que de cuando en cuando en el correo de Cuba, por órdenes de no sé quién, se agarraban las valijas completas y las quemaban, y es la razón por la cual
tú te Radio Martín.
Pasaba que eso salió tu programa que va a hacer contigo acá.
I'll be Radio Martín.
Las cartas tú te das cuenta que por la fecha primero.
Same channel, different frequency.
Carta anterior tú nunca la viste. Como por ejemplo que decía ayer.
He's all over this band. That's it, all the way down the bottom. different station. This is an absolute, crap shortwave radio, but it's still bringing in some, powerful stations. And you know what? Sounds pretty good.
Yo oía ni los sobres ni los...
Sounds pretty good through the S1.
adhesivo de...
Put something here. Can't get it any better than that. All right, I think we'll wrap this up now. So, managed to stay through this whole thing. Thanks for watching. I'll try to edit out those pops in the audio.